thank you all for coming to the Teamsters building. And Eric, it's nice to have you here. It's an honor to have you here. And it's an honor to have this reception for you and all the great work you do with LabourStart. I mean, I just think it's so important. We were just talking about, how important our message is with labor. And what Eric does is a great contribution. And now I'm being told it's putting, how many, 23 different languages? 23 different languages. And we don't get our message out about labor. I mean, the only stories that people hear about labor is when there's a strike or when there's violence. And they don't hear the positive stories about how the contribution labor makes. And that is the problem with the newspapers here. For instance, the Washington Post is such an odd newspaper because they never write about us. We settle huge contracts. They don't even put anything in there. They don't put anything in about anything going on in the Teamsters Union. And we talk to the editor all the time because it's not news. It's not news to them. It's only news when there's a disaster, when there's violence, when a plant closes. That's the problem. We have to get the positive message about what labor does and labor's activities, about the role we play. Labor is playing a tremendous role with the Obama administration. As everybody knows, we were a major force. The Teamsters Union was the first major union to endorse Barack Obama back in February of 2008, when it was still up in the air whether it was going to be Hillary or John Edwards. That was all still going on at the time. We were the ones that went ahead, and we have basically been working with him ever since. All the unions eventually got together with him. And recently we were at the White House, and we met with Obama. We've been there 5 times. And he's very receptive to our message, and he wants to work with us. He said, I realized how I got here. I realized how important labor's backing was to me. And he talks about his agenda. And of course, one of the things that we're trying to do very, very hard, is the idea of employee free choice, which is a major initiative here in this country. And it's something that they have in Canada, that they have in Finland, that they have in England. They have everywhere. Basically, card check. We want to get treble damages. We want to have arbitration on first contract after a reasonable period of time. And it is a firestorm to get that done, which everybody thought we could get this done. And that's why getting our message out is so important, with LabourStart, and any way we can get to the media to basically get that message out about what we're doing and the role we play. Now, fortunately, we do play a good role. This administration is very, very positive. But of course, they've got their hands full. You all read the papers, or he's running to a bee's nest with this health care. And again, he's trying to do with health care what most modern democracies do. They have nationalized health care in every major country. Every major country has some type of card check. I was recently up in Canada, where I was up in Ottawa, and we visited with, and I gave a speech, to all the delegates in Canada. And it was very, very interesting, because I was talking, I said, I'm envious. I said, because I'm up here where you have good laws. You have 37% of your people in the labor movement, because you have the laws that we're trying to get in the United States. I'm envious because you have a health care system like we're trying to get in the United States. You're so far ahead of us, and we want to get that for our people, for the 50 million people that don't have health care, for the people that want to belong to unions that are just afraid or frightened. So these are the kind of issues that we're up doing right now, and it's just so positive that you're here doing the same kind of work, getting the message out. And the whole idea is to communicate with people and get the message out to the average person about what labor unions do, what our agenda is, and how basically it lifts up all boats. We're basically on something that's going to help everybody. And that's what card check does, that's what EFCA does, and that's what some type of a nationalized health system does. So that's what we're doing. So my hat's off to you, Eric, for all the great things that you do, and hats off about LabourStart, because every day thousands of people turn on, look at that, and get it going. So thank you and congratulations, and thank you for coming.
I think I speak on behalf of all of the LabourStart people and people from other unions who have come here. And thank President Hoffa and the Teamsters for this very gracious welcome, those very kind words, which you've all noted. And it's a great honor to be in I've never been in the Teamsters building, but I've always admired and respected this union and your work. And I want to say a word about the future. We're going to help the Teamsters any way we can. We're going to help you with the FedEx campaign, or any campaign you want us to work on. We will get your message out around the world, 23 languages. Right? This is the plan. So you just call on us and we'll be there.
Thank you. That's very important to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have to tell you my favorite story about this place. On January 20th, it was very, very cold out. That was the day that Barack Obama was inaugurated. And we must have had 400 people in this room. They all went out there, and they were trying to watch. It was hard to watch the inauguration from here, but they could see all the activity. And there's a tradition, and all the people were outside, all lined up out there watching all the activity. And of course, the trees were bare, so you could really see. You can't see it today. And there's a tradition when Obama was inaugurated on this side of the Capitol, that Bush, the ex-president, goes to the other side, gets in a helicopter, and flies out to Andrews Air Force Base, and he's gone, he goes back to Texas. So it was the oddest thing. On that day, the helicopter went up, and it turned around, left the Supreme Court, landed up here, and flew right in front of our balcony. So you can imagine the greeting he got from all the people. You can imagine what they did. So I always think about, the flyby of George Bush flying by our balcony. I was hoping he was looking out the window.